بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. The Athar number 96 is the narration of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu with regards to the Ansar and with regards to the Muhajirin, and why Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu's memorization and narration of a hadith was so prolific. Khairan, inshallah. As we said before, we previously explained that and what's meant by that. We previously explained that. And I would like to say now, before we move forward, it goes to show you that to become a real and true and dedicated hadith disciple, one has to sacrifice. And one has to be willing to give up and to let go. And if you think that you're going to have everything else that's going to be normal and regular and conventional and orthodox, and study the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ full time, and pass on those hadiths and teach those hadiths full time, then obviously that's very far from reality. As far as studying part time, tayyib. Teaching part time, tayyib. A tad of this and a tis of that and a tad of that, etc. tayyib. But full time, hardcore, dedicating and devoting your life to it, no. And from the things that you have to sacrifice and relinquish is financial comfortability. Financial comfortability. And we all know what the Prophet ﷺ says in the authentic hadith: Inna li kulli ummatin fitna wa fitnatu ummatil mal. Every nation has an infatuation, a major fitna, and the major fitna of my nation is wealth. So people who don't study, people who stop studying, who quit, people who only go halfway, or people who don't study certain subjects in certain fields, or people who don't give dawah, or they only give half dawah, or they only teach certain books. Okay, let alone people who quote unquote sell out. They sell out, they sell their souls to a higher entity or to some organization or network, and they become a puppet held and played with by those strings because of money. The Prophet ﷺ says every nation has a fitna, and the major fitna of my ummah is money. So the power of money and the concept of cash rules is a reality. And the talib al-ilm has to be careful and has to be mindful. And there are many people who have misunderstandings regarding money, that you can't have no money, you can't work at all, you can't save anything, you can't have anything nice, anything from the dunya, etc. It's a fitna. And this hadith shows us that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, to become who he became, he had to sacrifice his money. Khairan, inshaAllah. Athar 97, حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن مهدي عن حماد بن زيد عن أيوب. We explained it already. Let's move forward. بإذن ta'ala. We're past Athar number 97. خير إن شاء الله. نعم, Athar number 104. Excuse me, we're on Athar number 104. Athar number 104. Sorry for the confusion by me. It says حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا معن بن عيسى قال حدثنا معاوية بن صالح عن العلاء بن الحارث عن مكحول عن واثلة أنه قال إذا حدثناكم بالحديث على معناه فحسبكم. Says here, Abu Khaythama narrates from Ma'an ibn Isa, from Muawiyah ibn Salih, from Al-Ala ibn al-Harith, who reported from Makhul al-Shami, who narrated from Wathil ibn al-Asqa, the companion, who said, whenever we give you the hadith ala ma'nahu, with the general meaning, and not necessarily word for word exactly 100%, فَحَسْبُكُمْ, then that's enough. That's enough. In other words, as long as you get the correct meaning and the gist of the hadith, even if it isn't word for word 101%, then that's more than enough. That's more than enough. That's something that you take, you memorize, and you pass on, inshallah ta'ala. So that's the meaning of the athar. And the fiqh of the athar is the permissibility of narrating hadiths bil ma'na, It's something that we've explained in Nukhbat al-Fikr and also Tadhkira of Ibn al-Mulaqin, that it's permissible to narrate a hadith even if you take a piece of the hadith or a sentence, and even if it isn't a 101% word for word, it's permissible. Al al-qawl al-rajih al-sahih, the correct view, and with the correct conditions, that you don't distort the meaning of the hadith, and that a person is alimun bil lugha, he knows the language, and he knows how to properly summarize and to properly condense, and how to properly cite and quote the hadith without distorting its meaning or twisting its meaning or misrepresenting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The scholars of Islam have mentioned these conditions with regards to ilm al-riwayah, and the ruling, the proofs and the evidences, the agreements and the disagreements about narrating hadith with a general meaning. Khairan inshallah. Athar 105, حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا معاوية بن صالح عن ربيعة بن يزيد عن أبي الدرداء أنه قال كان إذا حدث بالحديث عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اللهم إلا هكذا أو كشكله. Narrated Ma'an ibn Isa from Muawiyah ibn Salih, from Yazid, or from Rabi'ah ibn Yazid, from Abu Darda, who said, or he reported that whenever Abu Darda, whenever he narrated hadith from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would say Allahumma illa hakadha, meaning like this, or with this meaning, or kashakli, like this, like we say oh kama qal, or like he said, meaning he would make precaution, he would leave for himself some padding and some insulation, he would cover himself in case he forgot something, in case it's not the exact specific word for word text of the metin. Alright, and there's an extremely important practice here for the scholar and for the student of knowledge, is when you quote the hadith to say, okay, man, call, or as the Prophet ﷺ said, even if you've memorized it directly from the book, but you can never go wrong, and you can never have enough safety, you can never have enough precaution. You can never go wrong, you can never have enough safety, you can never have enough precaution. So this goes to show us how the companions and the Salaf had a great deal of respect for the Prophet ﷺ's hadiths. It wasn't something that was a sideshow, as some ignoramuses try to make, whether they be from the European Orientalists, the non-Muslims who studied Islam from Scotland, from England, from France, from Germany, from wherever they hail from and wherever they come from, all right? The different Western European Orientalists, and those who try to come and say that the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ were never important to the companions. They were only a sideshow to the companions, the early Muslims, until Imam Shafi'i came and made hadiths a staple part of Orthodox Sunni Islam. That's nonsense, and that's a lie, and that is a major inaccuracy. This goes to show you that he had a respect for the Prophet's hadiths, and he did not want to misquote them. And if it was of no importance, why would he make precaution? Okay? Khairan inshallah. And it also goes to show the humility of the alim. Abu Darda heard from the Prophet, but he still had to be humble. Moving forward. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا معن قال حدثنا أبو أيوب أو حدثنا أبو أويس ابن عمي مالك بن أنس قال سمعت الزهري يقول إذا أصبت المعنى فلا بأس. Narrated Ma'nun from Abu Uwais ibn Ammi, and this one was the cousin of Malik ibn Anas, who said, I heard Az-Zuhri say, إِذَا أَصَبْتَ الْمَعْنَى فَلَا بَأْسَ. As long as you get the general meaning, then it's okay, it's alright. As long as you have the general meaning, then there's nothing wrong with you quoting it, even if it isn't word for word. What we previously explained. 107 حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا حجاج بن محمد عن ابن جريج قال أخبرني عطاء أنه سمع أبا هريرة والناس يسألونه يقول لولا آية أنزلت في سورة البقرة لما أخبرت بشيء فلولا أنه قال إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزلنا من البينات والهدى من بعد ما بيناه للناس في الكتاب أولئك يلعنهم الله ويلعنهم اللاعنون. Athar 107 is related from Hajjaj ibn Muhammad from Ibn Jurayj, who said that Ata related to me that he heard Abu Hurairah saying, while the people were asking him, he said, if that it wasn't for an ayah, a verse out of the Quran, I wouldn't have told you about anything. I wouldn't have narrated anything to you if it wasn't for this verse in the Quran. If Allah had not said this, I would not tell you, I would not narrate anything to you. And this verse is from Surah Al-Baqarah, in which Allah Azza wa Jalla says, verily, those who conceal and those who hide the clear proofs and evidences, the guidance that we have sent down and we have made clear to men, we have given clarity in the scripture, and they still refuse to spread and to teach it after it's clear and sent down, these people shall be cursed by Allah, and they'll be cursed by all of those who make curses. All of those who curse and wish to curse will curse them. So this ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah clearly proves the major sin of hindering men from authentic knowledge and not reporting authentic knowledge and passing on authentic knowledge, and that you don't have a choice and an option to hide ilm. So be careful, O student of knowledge and O disciple of hadith. Khairan, inshallah, we've explained this in many times, many places, with regards to the tricks of Shaitaan and how he gets and how he causes the son of Adam to fall into kitmanul ilm, hiding knowledge. One person says, oh well, it's a masjid of Ahlul Bid'ah, they're people of innovation, so I'm not going there to teach them and to explain anything to them. If they want the truth, then they'll come to me, they'll come to us. We do not la nukaffir sawadahum, we do not increase their numbers, we do not sit with them, we do not go and mingle and mix with them. They're Ahlul Bid'ah, they're deviant, they are doomed to Allah's wrath and Allah's anger, to the fire of hell. And if they wanted to come out of that, then they would come to our masjid, and we would put the conditions and so on and so on and so forth. Or the Shaitan tricks a person by saying, I don't have that much knowledge, there are other scholars who have more knowledge than me, so let me be quiet and let me keep silent. If they're not saying anything about it, then who am I to say something about it? Or another trick, well, I'm afraid of, showing off. I'm afraid of having a bad intention. I'm afraid of people thinking that I'm pious and righteous and I'm really not, so I'm just not going to teach any classes. Or I want to teach classes, but I won't record the classes. Or those who are on YouTube and social media, they're showing off, and they have their faces and their pictures and their videos, and their women, their sisters looking at them, lusting off of their lips, looking at their beards, and there's no way that their intentions can be correct. So therefore, I'm going to teach a class, but no camera, no video, don't record me. As if the Shaitan doesn't whisper to the one who's sitting in his house teaching the class. As if the Shaitan doesn't whisper to a person who's teaching without a video camera in front of him. As if the Prophet ﷺ only spoke about showing off and riyah in the time of 2020, in which there's cameras and social media. How stupid does that sound? The Prophet ﷺ, the one who warned us against riyah and minor shirk and how hidden it is, he said it in a time in which there were no cameras and there was no social media. So who is the one who guarantees that the speaker on social media has no sincere intention and he's showing off, but the one who has 100 people sitting in front of him without a camera, he can never ever show off because he's not in front of a television screen? The one who speaks and teaches at a masjid with hundreds or thousands of people, there's no lust for women. There are no women who want to marry him. He's not a celebrity or a superstar. It's just the one on social media. He's the rock star. And that's the only reason why he's teaching. And that's the only reason why he's calling to Allah. Well, he's not calling to Allah. He's only calling to get more wives and to divorce them and to get more money. Look how Shaitan laughs at the people. And look how uneducated they sound when they make these stupid, immature, childish arguments. And the Shaitan tricks them not to spread knowledge and to hide the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the people in one way or another. And there's so many different ways in which the Shaitan tricks us and dupes us, and which the ultimate result is kitmanul ilm, is hiding the knowledge, preventing men from the path of Allah one way or another. Be careful, be mindful. Moving forward, next Athar 108. حدثنا أبو خيثمان قال حدثنا ابن فضيل عن أبيه قال كنا نجلس أنا وابن شبرمة والحارث العكلي والمغيرة والقعقاع بن يزيد بالليل نتذاكر الفقه فَرُبَّنَا لَمْ نَقُمْ حَتَّى نَسْمَعُ النِّدَاءَ لِصَلَاةِ الْفَجْرِ. After one way, it is reported from Ibn Fudayl, from his father, who said that me, or I myself, كُنَّا نَجْلِسُ, I and Ibn Shubruma and I, along with Al-Harith Al-Aqli, Mughira, Al-Qa'qa ibn Yazid, these people from the early generations, they would sit at night time, نَتَذَاكَرُ الْفِقْهِ, and they would study fiqh. They would review, they would have study sessions. Alright, they will remind each other and teach each other and go over the fiqh at night. And he says, and perhaps there will be nights, there will be times in which we wouldn't get up until we heard the adhan for Fajr. We would not get up until we heard the adhan for Salat al-Fajr. This proves and this shows us is that it's from the way of the Salaf al-Salih to stay up at night sometimes. To stay up at night. And sometimes it's from the way of the Salaf to be nocturnal and to study nocturnally. And sometimes it's better, or always better in general, to study instead of making qiyamul layl. That studying and revising fiqh and ilm is better than qiyamul layl. They didn't get up until the adhan of Fajr was made, meaning they didn't make qiyamul layl. Tayyib. There are many athar like this from among the Sahaba and the Salaf with regards to studying fiqh and qira'ah and mutala'ah and mudhakara. Alright? Many athar of the Salaf regarding this, many of them. And of course there is detail with regards to qiyam al-layl, not abandoning qiyam al-layl, but the concept of the ulama mentioning that the ilm that you study is better than the personal worship. Whereas the ilm, it benefits hundreds and thousands of people, versus the personal worship only benefits yourself. And it states in a hadith, Ibn Abdul Barr and others have collected a hadith. It's not an authentic hadith, but it's a popular hadith, but it's not authentic. It is not authentic. The hadith that says, عالم واحد أشد على الشيطان من ألف عابد. One scholar is a bigger problem to the devil than 1,000 monks. One scholar poses a greater threat to Shaitaan than 1,000 worshippers. And those aren't the words of the Prophet ﷺ. The hadith mawdu', it's fabricated. I'm just trying to make a point from the hadith. And I'm not trying to narrate the hadith. I'm actually clarifying that it's fabricated. That's first and foremost. لِبَيَانِ كَذِبِهِ. But the meaning of it, in general, is it has weight to it. That one scholar and the ilm that he has and the knowledge that he has is better than loads and hordes of people who just worship and just do their own personal ibadah. Okay? Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Moving forward. حدثنا أبو خيثمة is 109 here. حدثنا جرير عن عبد الله بن يزيد يعني الصهباني عن كميل بن زياد عن عبد الله أنه قال إنكم في زمان كثير علماؤه قليل خطباؤه وإن بعضكم زمانا كثير خطباؤه والعلماء فيه قليل. It's narrated from Jarir, from Abdullah ibn Yazid As-Sahbani, from Kumail, Allahu Alam, ibn Ziyad, who narrated from Abdullah, meaning Ibn Mas'ud, who said that now you're in a time in which there are many scholars, many learned men, and there are only a few speakers, a few preachers. But afterwards will come a time in which there'll be many speakers, many preachers, and only a few scholars, only a few learned people. Yani Allah is the most perfect. This athar, subhanallah, in the time of Ibn Mas'ud, the Salaf al-Salih. Just imagine now, the next generation after Ibn Mas'ud, the time will come. Just imagine 2020, how many preachers and speakers we have. Professional storytellers, professional LOL sheikhs, professional entertainers, laughing sheikhs, joking sheikhs, professional social media sheikhs. No formal education, no formal studies, no real hardcore talab, no sound ilm, concrete ilm. And they just talk and kalam and quack, like ducks and geese. That's all they do is make noise and talk and preach and speak. But the fiqh and the ilm is qaleel. This is scarce. Okay, so it's very dangerous if you think about it. You think how many people just talk, and the knowledge that they have and the understanding is just a little bit. It's unfortunate. It goes to show the superiority of fiqh over speaking and talking. Wallahu a'lam. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا عبد السلام وابن حرب عن ليث عن مجاهد أنه قال لا بأس بالسمر في الفقه. Narrated Athar 110, Abdul Salam ibn Harb from Layth from Mujahid, who said, there's nothing wrong with staying up at night to study. There's nothing wrong with staying up at nighttime to study, as we previously explained. And the reason why they're saying there's no problem is because the asl is supposed to be the night is a means of relaxation. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. Okay, وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا. Okay, Allah mentions that the night is supposed to be sakanan, a means of serenity, of peace, of relaxation. And they're saying that there's nothing wrong with breaking that asl and going against that asl for the purpose of fiqh. Tayyib. Now, people, they ask the question, how many hours should I study? What should be my study time? So on and so forth. We've clarified that there should be no formal study time. That's first and foremost. Secondly is, every now and then, even if you sleep and you get up in the daytime, every now and then you should have a few nights in which you stay up. A few nights in which you push it extra hard. Take it slow, study progressively, but every now and then, even if it's just one day out of the week, you got to really apply yourself. Your eyes should become red. You should fall asleep on your book. You should wake up and just drool on your pages. You should really push yourself at least once a week in which you get just a little bit of sleep. Not every day. Don't punish yourself like that every day. Don't make your sleeping totally messed up. Ignore everything else on the outside world, but at least once a day, half a day, really apply yourself, even if you have to lose sleep and stay up at night. And only Allah knows the barakah of the nighttime. The winter time is a season in which the nights are very short. Okay? The summertime, the nights are very long. People are asleep. Sometimes it's cooler at nighttime. It's not as hot in the daytime. Okay? Certain people are away from you, etc. The benefits of the night. Allah makes benefits in the nighttime just like He makes danger at nighttime. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, and the day breaks, so on and so forth. Nah? Khayr, inshallah. This also goes to show us the danger of the opposite. Of staying up at nighttime for social media. Or staying up at nighttime for fasad, for evil, for sins, for crimes, for gossip, talking about people, backbiting people, spreading tales, gossiping, let alone talking about scholars of Islam, talking about students of knowledge, backbiting them, alright? It's dangerous. Khayran inshallah ta'ala. Moving forward. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن الحسن ابن عمر عن إبراهيم النخعي أنه قال من طلب شيء من العلم يبتغي به الله عز وجل آتاه الله عز وجل به ما يكفيه. 111 is reported by Jarir from Hassan ibn Amr from Ibrahim al-Nakh'i, who said, anyone who seeks knowledge, seeking Allah, the Mighty and the Most High, sincerely seeking Allah, Allah the Mighty and the Majestic will give him that which will suffice him. He'll be granted the knowledge which will suffice him. The knowledge that you need, Allah will give it to you as long as you're sincere. And it shows us the strength and the power and the might of al-ikhlas, is to be sincere. To have sincere intention is powerful and it's meaningful, to be sincere. And how Allah Azza wa Jal will allow you to be bumped up and leveled up just because of your intention. You may not be the most talented, you may not have the greatest memory, you may not be the most handsome and the most pretty person, but your sincerity and Allah will give you what you need. Allah will suffice you, He'll take care of you. As long as you're taking care of His rights. And Allah's rights, the greatest of those rights, haqqullah ala al-ibad an ya'buduhu wa la yushriku bihi shay'an, is for them to worship Him and worship none but Him, make no shirk with Him. And that is sincerity, al-ikhlas. Moving forward, 112, حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن أبي يزيد المرادي قال لما حضر عبيدة الموت دعا بكتبه فمحاها. طيب, reported by Jarir from Abu Yazid al-Muradi, He said that when Abida, not Ubaidah, Abida as-Salmani, the famous narrator from Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that when he was upon his deathbed, he called for his books to be brought forth. All his notes, all the things that he wrote down and he had written down, famahaha, and he wiped them away. He erased all of them. He erased all of his books. Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, he says here in the footnotes, وروى هذا الأثر عنه سفيان الثوري أيضا وزاد في آخره وقال إني أخاف أن يليها قوم فلا يدعونها مواضعها. أخرجه الدارمي والخطيب في تقييد العلم. He says there's another version of this athar reported by Sufyan al-Thawri from Abida that's been collected by al-Khatib al-Baghdadi and ad-Darimi, is that he said, I'm afraid that someone would take these books and take possession of these notes and misuse them or misinterpret them or pass them on in an unbefitting manner, interpret them or use them in a way in which they're not supposed to be used. In other words, he was afraid that someone would take the book and not have the proper understanding and not have the proper fiqh, for someone to just be a self-taught scholar and not to be under the tutelage of the walking, talking, thinking human being. That's what's meant here. So we know that books are important, books are powerful, and Allah mentions books in many verses in the Quran. Okay, praising and also dispraising. Praising those who studied it, those who taught the scripture, those who were given the scripture. All right, Allah sent down the book, Alhamdulillah alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitab, as a blessing. Tabarak alladhi nazzala al-furqana ala abdihi. Blessing. Allah sending down the book. And other places, كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ يَحْمِلُ أَسْفَارًا, like a donkey, like an ass, carrying books on his back. Alright, فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَكْتُبُونَ الْكِتَابَ, woe to those who write the book or wrote the book with their hands. And they said it's from Allah and it wasn't, وَمَا هُوَ يعني مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ, it wasn't from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب. So books have been mentioned in many verses in the Quran. Praising them and the people who have them and used them and learned them and have been taught them. And also dispraising those who misuse books, who ignore the books, who change the books, who alter the books, etc. So no one can come and take a position and say that you cannot write down and you cannot have any books and you can only learn from scholars and you never ever learn from books. That's wrong. That's incorrect. And that's a gross mistake. A gross mistake. And that's not what the scholars mean when they say man kana shaykhuhu or man kana kitabuhu shaykhuhu kana khata'uhu akthara min sawabihi. Aw kama qalu. If your teacher is your book, you'll be wrong more than you'll be right. It doesn't mean that they said don't read books, don't study books, don't learn books. It doesn't mean that. That's not what they're saying. And that's not what they're talking about. Rather, what they're saying and what they're talking about is not having the proper fiqh and the proper usul and the proper ta'sil. But under any circumstances, a student of knowledge not to buy books, not to read books. Under any circumstances, a student of knowledge not to sit in the library. Under any circumstance, as a student of knowledge not to be greedy to covet books and inherit books. La. That's ghulu. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Athar 113. حدثنا أبو خيثمة قال حدثنا جرير عن عبد الملك بن عمير عن ابن عبد الله قال عبد الله رحم الله من سمع منا حديثا فرواه كما سمعه فإنه رب محدث أوعى من سامع. The last athar that we take in this class is athar 113 from Jarir, from Abdul Malik ibn Umair, from Ibn Abdullah, who said that Abdullah said. And this is Ibn Mas'ud here, and Ibn Abdullah is Abu Ubaidah, who didn't hear from his father directly, but they said that his رواية عن أبيه رواية الكتاب وفي ذلك خلاف بين العلماء. That Ibn Mas'ud said, may Allah have mercy upon a man who hears a hadith from us. May Allah have mercy upon a man who hears a hadith from us. And he narrates it just like he heard it. And that's because the one who is given the hadith secondhand who gets the information later on, he may memorize it, he may understand it better, he may take it better than the one who heard it directly firsthand. This is the statement of Mas'ud here, and we all know that there are many, many other hadiths in which this is marfu', that goes back to the Prophet ﷺ. Both narrations, you have a mawquf and a marfu' narration. The Prophet ﷺ said, may Allah have mercy upon a man who hears a hadith from us, who memorizes it exactly as he heard it, and passes it on to those who have not yet heard it. This hadith, as we've explained in many, many classes and lectures, is the recommendation to hear hadith, to listen to hadith, to narrate hadith, to pass on the hadiths, and to be accurate. To be accurate and to be precise and not to be scholastically sloppy. And also, just because you hear it directly doesn't mean you understand it the best way. Doesn't mean that you're the best student just because you were there and this person wasn't there. Someone could listen and learn from the tapes and the lectures and be better and more blessed than the one who was actually sitting by the feet of the Shaykh. Wallahu ta'ala alam. We'll stop here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.